Hello out there and welcome to Public Conscience. This is the anti-corruption program produced by the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development, PRIMOG. PRIMOG is a civil society group with a mandate to promote good governance, participation and accountability in Nigeria. I am Adaobi Obiabumuwa with Chidozie Ogbonnaya.
Welcome to the program.
On Public Conscience on Radio, we seek to evolve a corruption-free society through the amplification of corruption stories reported by our partner media organizations and drawing citizens and government attention for democratic actions. This program is supported by the MacArthur Foundation. Today's subject for discussion concerns you and I. You will hear how ghost marriages are contracted in Abuja for a fee, and for those getting ready for marriage, you need to know how to avoid the corruption in the process. So you need to get ready to join us through phone and text messages. The WhatsApp phone line to send your message to is 0902-265-6167. That is 0902-265-6167. And remember that this number is for messages only. The numbers to call will be given out shortly when we open the phone line. And on today's program, we will be looking at how Nigerians in need of a statutory marriage certificate or license are extorted and ripped up by marriage registrars and officials appointed by the Federal Ministry of Interior within the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja.
Barely 1 month ago, the International Center for Investigative Reporting, ICIR, published a report which exposed pervasive sharp practice in the conduct of marriages in the 6th Area Council of Abuja, the nation's capital.
And this happened irrespective of the federal government's reduction of the statutory marriage fee from 21,000 and 30,000 for ordinary and special licensing to 15,000 and 25,000. Registries are still extorting couples months after.
The report, however, indicted officials of these marriage registries of creating loopholes to squeeze out extra cash from unsuspecting intending couples in flagrant abuse of Section 42 of Marriage Act.
Some of the corrupt acts perpetrated by the officials at the various registries are 34,000 naira fee for an ordinary marriage within a 21 days notice, while the fee for 7 days notice costs 48,000 naira. However, an additional 10,000 is charged if the couples opt for a weekend solemnization.
Also, there exists what is termed ghost marriage, which ensures a marriage takes place with just one of the couple present and at the cost of 50,000 naira. Unfortunately, these payments are received by the officials with no receipt given for it, while couples are kept in the dark about the existence of a registration portal. Based on data obtained from Abuja Municipal Marriage Registry, almost 13,000 marriages from 2015 to 2019 have been awarded statutory licenses in the FCT alone, which only leaves everyone to imagine how much have been extorted from citizens in marriage registries nationwide.
I guess you're wondering what is going on. Well, for better understanding of this corruption report, we have in the studio a freelance reporter, but she wrote this story for the International Center for Investigative Reporting. Jennifer Ugwa, you're welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you, Ada. It's good to be here.
We also have in the studio the Principal Counsel, Fortress Legal Consult, Barrister Peter Kefas. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Jennifer, we'll start with you. Could you please give us an overview of this report and why you went into such undercover investigation?
First of all, I think the idea came after we'd done a previous investigation on birth registration or birth certificate. And our finding actually showed that people were being extorted, but the amazing thing is that, the story wasn't really originally our idea, because it came from someone who had gone through this kind of situation, who was extorted at one of the registries. So because we'd already done the previous story on birth registration, and also the assumption exists that if there's an atmosphere or say a setting where money changes hands, there's a possibility of corruption or certain sharp practices going on. So we decided to take up that as well, see what we'll find out. I think that was the basic idea, like where the idea came from to do that story. And I also think that that's an aspect that I've been long overlooked, because if it is wedding, it's obviously for a happy cause, so people are also more lenient to open their pocket and give out something. I mean, it's for a happy cause, it's wedding, so who cares what you're asking me for? It's for the happily ever after. So,
so what you're trying to say is that some of these couples that were extorted, they knew,
well, yes,
but they willingly gave out this money
exactly,
because they were happy.
They were, most of the time, that's what happens, because they assume, oh, all right, anything just to get this done. Great.
What if they asked them to pay 1 million? Would they have parted with that?
Oh, definitely, we knew they weren't going to ask for 1 million naira.
Anyway, wrongdoing is wrongdoing. No,
sure.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's very, very wrong. So that was the idea. So and also because it's a systematic process, it has to do with the government, it's an administration, and part of the things that should define a good administration should also be truth. And unfortunately, this wasn't something that we found, or that I found when I was doing the story.
In your report, you did mention ghost marriage.
Yeah, ghost marriage.
Could you please throw more light on that?
Okay, so the original ideas of ghost marriage, I mean, there are some cultures that an individual can marry someone who is dead or who is not there. But in this context, actually, we're still talking about someone that is not present. So another word we can use is sham marriages. So what happens is somebody can impersonate to be somebody he is not or she is not, just to make sure that they are able to facilitate this process and get the certificates. So that's what
Is that not an aberration of the Marriage Act?
Definitely, it is an aberration of the Marriage Act. The Section 44 of the Marriage Act is against this, is impersonation, and it actually attracts jail terms, fortunately.
How much is the cost of this ghost marriage?
Well, it should cost you something around 50,000 and above.
So if I got you clearly, let's assume I want to get married, and I get to the marriage registry. My supposed fiancé is not in the country.
Yeah, and you should know that the possibility exists that there is no fiancé in the first place. Probably you want this certificate for something else.
For something else.
Yes.
Oh, wow. So now it's not all about the registrars now. Nigerians too
also do that, yes, because it helps them.
They are also guilty in this.
Sure. Yes.
Because you're not getting married, but you need a false certificate.
Yes, definitely.
No wonder is that the reason why they are willing to part with any amount?
Probably. I mean, when you look at the benefit of whatever it is that they are pursuing, or whatever their reasons are for trying to get this certificate the wrong way, most of the time is to facilitate your traveling. Say you want to move to other climes. The assumption is that it's easier for a married person to get visa abroad or to get permanent residency abroad than for a single person, because then the challenge, would I call it challenge, or maybe that thought that you probably might run away, or you might not be accountable when you get there. So the idea of a family person, so it's better for them. They assume, okay, you're coming to this country, you're starting a new life, so why not just give you this freedom? When they look at it that way, it's easier, the benefit is better for them. Yeah, and the registries, they know this. The registrars also. So
they conspire with these people.
No, it's a conspiracy.
Okay, staying with Jennifer, let's get more on your findings, because you said you moved across the 6 area councils.
Oh, well,
so let's get your findings, the sharp practices you saw in different places you visited.
Okay, so because of the timing of the the story, the investigation when it happened, and with the lockdown, we couldn't actually cover every other zones, but I think we covered at least 4 out of the 6. So the findings, yeah.
Which area councils are these?
So I was at Kuje, I was at Kubwa, I went to Gwagulada, and I was also in Amak, and then at the Ministry of Interior also.
Okay.
So the finding is that, yes, when we talk about sharp practices or corruption, they extort people, they ask more than what the original price should be from couples actually. So, and then the process of also getting these certificates, it's not almost clear cut. It's almost as if you can't come and just get it done the right way. There are so many bends to cut through, or so many things to pay for. You have to, for instance, give your marriage registry a carton of malt, and I don't think that, I know this is not part of the requirement.
Official requirement.
Official requirement. Actually, thank you for saying that. Official requirement. So you need to get your own barrel. You need to get a lot of things yourself, and you have to pay.
Your
extra.
own barrel, you say?
Yeah, your own pen.
Carton of malt.
And you have to have a separate pen for yourself and your spouse. So it's like you can't use the same pen that your husband used, because yeah, it's in their own requirement, the unofficial requirement, if I can borrow that word. So they things like that, I found that was happening also. And then the 10,000 naira weekend fee, that was going to be extra. I mean, if your wedding is going to be on the weekend, say a Saturday wedding, obviously that's what most people opt for, because the weekend you have time to do a whole lot of things, and you have people also that would come to join you. So what they do is they ask for extra 10,000 naira if it's going to be the weekend. I mean, apart from the fact that you're already been extorted.
But officially, the normal working days are Monday to Fridays, right?
Yeah, that's it. But the thing is, the registries also fix Saturdays on their calendar as a day that they would facilitate weddings. So if it is, we want to talk about the normal working days right now, then why put Saturday at all?
Could that be a reason for the extortion, the extra 10,000?
That's not the only reason. I think that's also another leeway to extort, to not just the only reason.
You talked about malt, carton of malt. What is that meant for?
When we talk about malt, talk about beverage drink. I think that's the way they assume you celebrate with them. I mean,
so you must celebrate with them.
Yeah, I actually asked if I can do away with the malt or have them just attend one of the centers I went to. I told him, I mean, I'm willing to have all of you at the celebration. You can eat all you want. I don't think there's any need for the malt. I'm like, no, we need it. So I guess, yes, that's their own way of celebrating.
Okay, we'll still get back to you, but let's get to Barrister Peter. You've heard all that she has said. How would you react to it?
Well, I wish to start by congratulating Jennifer.
Thank you so much.
And her team for a well done job. In fact, going to the report, I was quite excited, and I have to give you a thumb up for saying that if journalists can go the extra mile, our country can be better for it. Like you said, the corruption is systemic. It's been happening, and because it's systemic, the officials are aware of it, because they are beneficiaries. So they allow it to happen the way. The law is very clear, as you stated. It has been, as of July last year, the amount has been pegged down to 15 and 25,000. But because, like I said, because it's systemic, it's corruption, it's an endemic. I mean, and to be honest, it's not only in this registry, and that's why I said I was happy when it's a step towards unfolding so many corruption in the system. As a lawyer, some of these things we've picked them up, but of course, the people in the registry, in fact, you'll be frustrated. And then, like she said, because it's like a joyous moment or joyous thing you're going into. They take advantage of the fact that you're going to into
excited,
a joyous, exactly.
So you're willing to part away
with any amount that they tabled before you, and really, and then because of also ignorance on the people too. People don't go the extra mile to find out, what is it the exact amount that I should pay. I mean, it should worry you that the law will not make provision for you to bring malt, bring pen. The law will not make provision for that.
2 pens.
I mean,
one for your
but that's the reality. It's happening, and it has been happening. And then because, like I said, the oversight on the part of the ministries too, who should go further to find out if really this thing is being complied with strictly according to the law. They are not doing this. So when I read the report, I said, man, this report should go extra. I mean, a copy of the report should go to the Ministry of Justice. A copy of the report should go to Interior. It should be publicized, because the public know that there is a portal where you have to pay through remitter. Some of these infractions will not happen. It's a shared practice, and it's a reality, and that it must be exposed. And I'm happy that it has started, and with the the publicity being given to it. It's not only in the Ministry of the Registry, even in the High Courts. There are some of these infractions, some of these sharp practices, but because, like I said, it's systemic, so they are beneficiary. But as the more we keep exposing it, the government will sit up to know that, okay, these things, people are aware of it, and that it has to stop.
All right, Barrister Peter.
It has to stop.
It has to stop is the way to go forward. But you heard Jennifer talk about ghost marriage.
Yeah.
So let's come from the legal angle. Give us your perspective on the legality of ghost marriage and the implication of fraud in our public sector.
Well, the law does not recognize anything like ghost marriage or marriage by proxy. The law does not recognize that. And that's why the law is very clear. The Marriage Act is very clear on it. Parties, it's like an affidavit that you have to, and you cannot swear to an affidavit in absentia. Your presence is important. You have to swear to an affidavit. So the law does not recognize, but because of the sharp practice, they extort money. This is what you want. Okay, if this is what you want, this is what you have to part away with for us to do that to you. So, but it's strictly an infraction of the law. The law does not recognize marriage by proxy or anything like ghost marriage. It's an infraction of the law. And like I said, because it's systemic, those that should be responsible to checking if these things are being done strictly are not doing their responsibilities.
Do they go an extra mile to check if the names provided, that the people actually exist when it comes to ghost marriages?
Yeah. So,
because I could go there with a fake name.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, definitely. At the registries, some of the provisions is to bring an affidavit also. And like you said, some of these sharp practices also happen in the courts.
Sure.
So an affidavit can almost be acquired by anyone, anywhere. And all that for spring test too. Also, if you can't do this, you can almost do anything. But if it's important, for someone to want to get a marriage certificate, they need it for something. So most of the time, couples go in or individuals go in with their real name, because it has to reflect the name that they have on their certificate or their identification cards too.
So you must provide an ID of your spouse, of your fiancé.
Just come with the affidavit.
We have a problem of data in this country.
And like she's saying, in fact, so like the question you posed to her, there are some that come with fake names.
Mm-hmm.
Those are not their real names. But because they needed it for probably to travel out, in fact, even our international passport before the recent change, the security features, they could come with fake names. You see somebody coming with 2 different passports. So they could even obtain the marriage certificate with fake names.
Yes, definitely. They could do that.
Wow. Okay, Jennifer, in the course of your investigation, did you reach out to the oversighting Ministry of Interior now?
Well, I think I tried to do that, but we couldn't set up an interview. I tried reaching out to ICPC too, but what happens with these reports, this kind of reports most of the time, often, is that when we are done with the reports, we get to share and we tag these ministries. I mean, this is the part where they come in. It's their job. They take it up from there, and they try to bring in any correctional changes or try to say hold the people involved to account. So that's one way we do that, by tagging them and also calling public. I mean, that's one of the things we are doing now, bringing advocacy to it too.
Okay. Were there other challenges you faced?
Yeah, there are lots of challenges.
Share with us.
Okay, I'll just share a few. I think first, the main thing was data for me, to get data on the number of marriages that we had. Unfortunately, I think that also limited the scope of this report, because when you look at it, we could only get the data in AMAC. And when we talk about it, we can't get a nationwide data, although they have a portal, the Ministry of Interior actually, where there are updates on, say, marriage bans and the rest, but it's not every marriage is updated there, and it doesn't capture the whole country, because if it did, then we'll have a bigger picture. We'll have like a clearer picture of the number of people that might have been going through this or that are currently even going through this. So the absence of data also was a challenge for me, and assessing the little one that was there was also an issue, because sometimes they're not ready to give you what they have. They're not willing to say this is what we have. There are a lot of bureaucracy, so many things to go through before you can access.
Why wouldn't they be willing to share information with citizens?
Well, I think that's the question we'll have to pose to them. But that's unfortunately the circumstances of what's going on right now. So I think that was one problem, the data aspect of it. Another aspect was actually going on the cover as a single lady. So I found out that the registrars, they're more disposed to talk to, say, an engaged couple or a lady that comes with a male. Sorry, not trying to be stereotypical, but that's just the ugly truth. So when you come with a male, you come with a counterpart, you come with someone that they assume is your husband. You get to have to be attended to.
Quick response.
Exactly. More than you're just there and they're like, maybe you're not serious or something. So that was and you know, that question of, did you just come to make inquiries? Was, I mean, you should be here already just to get married, not making inquiries and then you come and go. So the idea of making inquiry looked like it was almost novel for them. It was almost something that people didn't do, because people just come in and they come with their wad of money and let's just get this done with. So, you know, getting them to answer those questions for me, and then staying undercover too, because well, but that's part of the hazard of the work. You need to get evidence, you need to get so many of these things to add flesh to the report. So those are just few of the challenges.
I mean, it was interesting to see that you approached them as if you wanted to get married.
You must be ready before you approach them. You don't go to make inquiries.
It was interesting, very interesting.
But before I get back to you, Barrister, I think it's time for us to get the listener to join the conversation this year. All right.
Before we get there, do remember that you can follow us on our social media platforms at Official Primorg. Primorg is once again spelled Primorg. Remember that we are streaming live on Facebook.
We are live on Facebook at Official Primorg. And remember that the program is interactive. The WhatsApp number to send your messages to is 0902 265 6167. 0902 265 6167. How would you react to the story you just heard? Have you come across extortion in marriage registry? And what are you doing as a city against any form of corruption around you? We have a call. Hello. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Toba. I'm calling from Federal House in Dubai.
Let's hear you, Toba.
Okay. I just wanted to, point out to something. Like when the lady was saying something, when the barrister was talking, the barrister said something that one of the most painful things is that Nigerians also don't take time to ask what are the needful, the things they need to do while they are about to do this wedding and all of that. But the most painful thing is these people at the registry will never tell you the legal thing, the right thing that you are supposed to do. It is that one that is the one that will profit them, that they will tell you. So going there to ask for any information, they will give you every information that tallies with the act or what they want to do. They will never give you the real information, which is the right thing for you to do, or the stipulated guideline that the government has put in place if you want to carry out such marriage. So that is the biggest problem we're having. So it is not the problem of Nigerians not wanting to know. Nigerians are doing what they told Nigerians, and that is what Nigerians know. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow. Nigerians are willing to know, just that some of these officials wouldn't give out the right information. That brings me to the next question to you, Jennifer. Is there a portal for citizens to access this information?
Yes, there is. There is a portal. The eCity Biz portal is there.
Which portal again?
eCity Biz. So
could you please spell that out?
So when you say E, you have CITIBIZ. So it's
ECITIBIZ.
Yes.
Okay.
So you have that portal there, but like the caller just said, most people don't know about this portal because there is not enough orientation or awareness about this portal, and I think it's in the story also. So I did have someone that before he went to facilitate his wedding or his marriage statutory licensing, he knew about this, and when he got there, he was like, "This is not what I read about. This is not what I'm saying." But unfortunately, when they find out that you know your beings also, they try to make it hard for you a little bit in any way they can. So you can't make payments at the office. That's one thing, because he said he had to go to the bank to make his payment, print a remitter and make his payment and everything. But when you go to their office and you don't know any better, this remitter and these payments, magically you can do everything in the office. You don't have to run around and do all of that. So the portal is there, and even when you try to tell some of the intendings around that, okay, you can actually do this yourself, there is another way to do this, the workers around, they are benefiting from it. They didn't take a shine to that action of his, so he had to do it in a very coded way so that they don't know what he's doing. But the unfortunate thing is also that sometimes people are also lazy to want to do the right thing, because according to him, he said that most of the people he told, they just preferred, I can just give them the 3,000 and get it done.
You are willing to part away with the money.
Yes, exactly. So people don't know. It's unfortunate that the awareness is not there. But what is more heartbreaking is that even with the awareness, people are not also willing to take the right step.
With the awareness, people are not willing to take the right step.
And Barrister Peter, it's just that we are here and we can't help it, but we must keep doing what we can.
Sure.
Yeah. So my question to you is that what may be responsible for this persistent corrupt act visible in our public sectors? Because now it is marriage registrar today. You can hear any other birth certificate from elsewhere. So, and why is government reluctant to take action even when it is exposed?
Well, I will attempt to answer that. Well, the truth, like we said, is systemic. What you see from the lower cadre, they report back to the organ at the top.
You say report.
Yes.
Do they remit some of this?
Of course, unofficially, we know they certainly remit to them. And you see, and why I say that is that there are checks that you can put in place to ensure that these things don't happen. The marriage certificates that you issue out, you must be able to account for them. The Ministry of Interior that issues this thing, there should be an accounting system where they should be able to know the number of certificates that have been issued. Are they the same with the number of payments into their remitter? There should be, so once there is no accounting system, there is bound to be corruption. People are bound to take advantage of the system. But if there is reporting, they know there are checks put in place. Certainly, they will not just issue certificates. There are a lot of infractions. Like I said, the law provides that even for before you get married, there must be consent of both parties. If there must be, if you've not attained an age, an age of 21, you need consent. Some of these things, once you go to they won't let you know some of these things. They'll wave it aside. You're supposed to also go with your birth certificate to show that you are of age, 21 years age, to get married, because the statutory marriage provides that you must be 21 years, and if you're not, you need consent. Somebody to say, okay, I'm the father, or I'm the mother, or the uncle. But some of these things, they don't disclose it to you. All that they're interested in is in the money. So because I said, because it's systemic, it has to start from the top. The Ministry of Interior have to ensure that these marriage certificates, there are checks, there are controls to ensure that each one you issue out, we know what comes in. And also the National Orientation Agency, they read that in their report. They need to publicize, they need to go to give people this knowledge, to let people to understand that, look, these are the procedures put in place. These things should be made known to the whole world. It should be well publicized. Even if you go to the board, it should be well publicized. This is the portal you need to go to get this information. So if these are done, it will minimize. It cannot totally eliminate, but it will minimize.
You are saying that the collusion or collaboration of the top and the low officials, low placed officials in the ministries or the registrar is the reason why this corruption persists.
Absolutely.
Okay, Jennifer, let me get to you. Your report, you said that official fee is 21,000. Marriage, the notice is 21 days for marriage to be certified.
Yeah.
But if I want it today,
Of course, you can get it today too. I mean, it's what you want, your money.
It's your money.
so I'll pay extra for it.
That's extra.
But ideally, officially, how many days?
Actually, it should be 21 at least. You shouldn't be less than 3 weeks, because the assumption is that within this number of days, the registry itself should carry out checks on the individuals. But unfortunately, you can get your express delivery. I mean, the same day you can have this done.
In addition to that, if you want, I want to give an example with.
Please, let's take this. Sorry.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
My name is Amos Abba. I'd like to know from the lady in the studio, with regards to the extortion ring at the marriage registry. So I'd like to know what's been the outcome of her investigation or the impact. I think that's all I want to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you get him? The outcome of this investigation or the impact?
Okay, so I think we are still on the impact currently also. That's why we are here on air talking about this. And also the outcome is that people get educated, obviously. I mean, when it was published, we had a lot of comments on the social media, a lot of people calling for that correction in this aspect, and we can only hope for more to be done in the future.
We expect National Orientation Agency
to actually take
Paris, I think I cut you short. Please go ahead.
I'll give example with letter of administration. If you apply for letter of administration, it will be not only on the board, it will publicize in about 3 days, so that if there's anybody who has objection, the person can raise objection.
Like they do in churches,
like
they give you 21.
Exactly. So it's the same thing. The 21 days, but this marriage must take place within 3 months. So for the purpose of, if there is objection, somebody should raise. But all that they do is to just a small board in the marriage registry in an area that not everybody can have access to, just paste it there. and they will tell you that after 21 days there's no objection, you can go ahead and do your marriage.
Can I add something?
Please do.
To what Mr. Amos said? That's his name, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I think another impact can most of the time probably might just be, it could be negative or it could be, mostly we pray for the positive one. But unfortunately, this story actually got recognized on the Global Investigative Journalism Network as one of the top stories in the world few weeks ago. So I think the bad side, it's good that it's recognized, but unfortunately what this kind of exposure also shows is that it kind of dents the Nigerian identity.
It doesn't
also.
sell good about
and also
Nigeria.
exactly, it doesn't sell us very well, but that doesn't mean we won't tell the story anyway. But what it does that I really hope that the ministries in charge, they would take this up and do something about it, because the authenticity of or the chances of you being believed when you present a marriage certificate, not just here in Nigeria but outside the country, is now it's a bit higher, because you have a lot to prove more to these people outside the country. So that's another thing. Yeah.
Share your experience with us. Have you gone to the marriage registry? Did you pay? Did you resist corruption? We want to hear from you, please.
Well, Mr. Peter, I think let's talk about the citizens, because everything is centered around the citizens. From the investigation, citizens seems to be unaware of the online portal which we've talked about here, and other sharp practices, maybe because of we are in a haste to get out of the marriage registry and go back to our business. So that is why the corruption persists. But do you think citizens are doing enough in government ministry in tackling corruption? Because we have our role to play, we have our part to play in tackling corruption in government ministries, departments and agencies.
Well, like I said earlier, the citizens are not helping, in the sense that by going the extra mile, like I said, it's a global village now. You can go on the net and find out this information, and thank God there's a portal. So if citizens go and get to know this information and get there at the registry and they are asked to do something different from that, they will raise an eyebrow and say, no, this isn't what I got from the portal. So that's where I think the citizen must be able to go the extra mile to ensure that they check this corruption.
Hello? In your name and where you're calling from.
Okay, I am a very August. I'm calling from Nigeria.
Let's hear you, Ebere. Have you visited the marriage registry?
Yes, I was there some years back where I did my court wedding in this court marriage in
Okay. Did you pay extra fee? Share your experience.
I did not pay extra fee. The only thing I noticed was after each session, there are about 6 people that are wedding part-time. After each session, they will ask us to pay for Thanksgiving or tithe or something like that.
They'll ask you to pay for Thanksgiving and tithe.
Yes. One woman will come with one plate after and ask us to put Thanksgiving or thing. We drop 20 naira, 30 naira like that.
Was there an officiating priest there?
No, there was none.
So how come you were asked to pay tithes?
I don't know. That was what they were doing, because me and my husband, we came a little bit late. So we saw them putting offering. We joined them. That was what happened.
Did you pay tithes?
I don't have any tithes. So what I put was 15 naira 2 times, because there were 2 sets in 4 hours. So they asked the first time, after they have done the second time, 4 hours. So that was what happened.
So you gave offering twice. Wow.
I gave offering twice.
Thank you for sharing your experience. Wow. Pay tithe and offering. I've never heard that before.
I think I know about the offering.
So many means of extorting money from
offering. Why tithe?
When they conduct your marriage, it's obvious they will. If somebody is conducting the marriage, and we are very religious people in this country, so
you pay for offering. She said she paid twice.
But I'm surprised they are talking about tithes.
In a month, if I'm right, tithing, you should do that.
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you get to pay for? How I'm just wondering how she managed to pay for her tithe.
She said she didn't pay.
Oh,
That she didn't.
But then
What
she
she
was
gave
asked
out.
to pay.
Okay.
Sorry, barrister,
That's where
continue.
the citizens are culpable and or rather guilty too. Because some of these things you go the extra mile to find out. Then it says ignorant of the law is not an excuse. That you do not know is not an excuse because it's there. So the onus is on you to find out. So the citizen must go the extra mile to find out what the law says. Somebody cannot be law unto himself and tell you pay this, you pay this, you pay this, you pay this, you pay. And because they are getting away with it, and that's why it's thriving. But if they know the citizens are aware, I'm telling you they'll sit up. They'll only tell you what the law requires, and it ends there.
Good. The citizen should go an extra mile to find out. Jennifer, please share the portal again with us, because I want to believe that there are some people who are just joining and they want to get the portal, so they also could read up.
Okay, so the portal is basically when you go to the Ministry of Interior, the website. So there's a link sending you to the portal itself. So it's actually eCityBiz portal. You can do your business registration also. There's this aspect where you can do your business registration, your religious registration, but then down to what we're talking about, the marriage registration is also there. So it's eCityBiz portal. When I say eCityBiz, that's ECITIBIZ.
ECITIBIZ portal on the Ministry of Interior website.
Yes.
And as we start unwinding, our clock is ticking, Adobe, but I want to ask Jennifer this particularly because you did this investigation from your experience on the field. What can we do about, to curb this?
Okay, so I think the barrister had already given us some pointers in that aspect also. Because it's systematic, like he had repeated, it has to be a systematic reform also. Unfortunately, what happens in this kind of scenario is that instead of handling the problem as a major issue or an in-house something that or trying to find the reason and remove it, the bad tooth, and pull it from the root, what happens is that the few people that are exposed are made or are turned into scapegoats actually. So the system find a way to blame them, the ones that probably got the names or got the face. But that doesn't mean that everybody or the rest, or we don't have more people involved in this. So I think what can be done is actually a total overhaul of the current operation, looking at the loopholes. What can we do? It has to be something that this ministry itself will have to come and sit with the directors and also their registrars that are in the field and put heads together. If it means giving them more trainings, if it means creating awareness, if it means there are a lot of things that can be done actually in this area.
Let me just come in a little.
All right.
In addition to what she had said, the only way you could stem it or minimize it is to ensure that as you get to the registry, there must be orientation on the registrars that they don't have anything to do with physical cash. All you need to do is to go online, print your line, make a payment,
Bring the receipts,
print your list, and come with your receipt. Fill your form, print your form, and fill it. Come, they verify, and ensure that truly there was a payment. The process picks up from there.
Yeah.
Good.
You cut off.
The last question before we round up. These monies that were collected from the couples, were they receipted for?
Okay, so if
Did the registrars give receipts for this money?
I'm sorry, no, they don't.
My sister, they also have their own receipts, unofficial receipts.
Unofficial
They have
receipts.
unofficial receipts they issue to you.
in this
And because
this
nobody
case,
cares to verify.
Yeah, but in this case actually, nobody is looking for any receipts because the person that is going for a sham marriage doesn't want anything to show I paid more than I should pay. The person that is facilitating the ghost marriage doesn't want to show that it was me that did it. So all in all, there's
So
really
sham
no
begets sham.
Yeah.
The total reform from the ministry.
Yes.
Total reform. That's the
Total reform from the ministry, and that is how we are wrapping it up on today's episode. Just here we have to go.
Oh, we have to go. It's been a wonderful time out here.
Please visit the news page of our website, news.primorg.org. That is news.primorg.org for all the details of our reports and interviews. Visit our website, primorg.org, to get all the information about Primorg.
And you can watch our videos on Primorg TV, our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to remind us when we have a new post.
We appreciate our guest Jennifer Ugwa, a freelance reporter who did the story for the International Center for Investigative Reporting, ICIR. Thank you so much for coming on the program. And to Barrister Peter Kefas, the Principal Counsel, Fortress Legal Consult. Thank you so much for being a part of this program. Public Conscience is supported by the John T. and Catherine V. MacArthur Foundation, committed to building a more just, verdant, and peaceful world. Get more information about the foundation on its website, macfound.org.
Join us again here next week for another episode of Public Conscience. And remember to follow us on our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Official Primorg. I am Chidozie Obunnaya.
Official Primorg is our social media handle. Please follow us. And for you out there, from Abuja, Lagos, Anambra, Kwara, and the adjoining states, please share your experiences with us with regard to the marriage registries in your location through 0902-265-6167 or info@primorg.org. And remember that as a citizen, the onus is on you to help stop corruption. I am Adaobi Obiabumo. Stay safe.